Hey, this is Jason from Strength Running, and today we're going to talk about how to run a faster half marathon. Let's take a look at this question I just got recently. I just ran a half marathon and achieved a PR of 91:29. So that's an hour, 31 minutes, 29 seconds. Although it went well, I felt more tight and tired than I wanted after mile 10. I believe my speed is good since I ran a 19:41 5K earlier this year. Do I need longer long runs? My longest leading up to the half was 11.5 miles. What do you think? I'm curious what you might recommend based on the information that we know for this particular runner. Let's do something fun. Pause the video right now if you're on YouTube and then comment below what suggestions you might have for this runner. I'm really interested to see what we can come up with. All right, you've paused, now you're back. Let's see what I think. So now the question is, how can this runner get faster in the half marathon based on what we know? So there's a couple things that I think you have to know. Number one, you are going to be tired after mile 10 in a half marathon no matter what. There is a lot of accumulated fatigue running half marathon pace for 10 miles. And just like after mile 20 in a marathon, after mile 10 and a half, there's no getting around the fact that you are going to be tired, probably quite sore. You're going to really be feeling the effort. Now, we don't train so that the race doesn't hurt or the race isn't, isn't fatiguing or tiring. We train so that it's tolerable. We train so that we can get through it, not that we're experiencing less race discomfort or fatigue. So that's the first thing that I'd like to say. I mean, of course, this runner might be more tired than he should be after mile 10, but we shouldn't ever get to the point where we're wanting to experience no fatigue, no soreness, or anything like that after a certain point in a race. Races are tough. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the fact that this runner has run a 19:41 5K. That's pretty good. And so is their 1:31:29 half marathon. Now, these two times are actually pretty equivalent in terms of their competitiveness. So actually, the fact that this runner ran 19:41 and then 1:31:29 and a half is actually something that I would have kind of guessed. I would have estimated that this runner would have been capable of a half marathon around this time because they're what I would call equivalent performances. They are roughly the same competitiveness, and we can assume that if someone runs about 19:40 in the 5K, they're probably ready to run about 90 minutes in the half marathon, provided that they train appropriately. So that is an important point. So this runner said, I believe I have good speed. Shouldn't I have run faster? Well, you're obviously going to run faster in shorter races because since the distance is shorter, you're able to expend more effort. But I think these two times are so similar, I would have predicted this from the very beginning. So now what? That's the big question. We've just learned that this runner didn't actually race a poor half marathon. Their half marathon is in line with what their 5K originally predicted, but of course, there's always room for improvement. And from what we know about this athlete, I think there is one piece of low-hanging fruit that we should tackle right off the bat, and that is the long run. So this particular runner, the longest run that they did before the half was about 11.5 miles. Now, if you can't cover the race distance in training at an easy pace, it's going to be more challenging to cover that distance at a race pace in a race situation. So what I would recommend is for anybody who's more competitive, who's really trying to set personal bests, who's trying to see what they are capable of achieving, you have to run longer than the race distance. Now, of course, this rule breaks down with the marathon. That's a separate topic. But in terms of the half marathon, if you can, if you have the fitness, the ability, and the willingness, you absolutely should run longer than the race distance in training. In fact, if you can run 15, maybe all the way even up to 20 miles, you are going to be building the endurance necessary to not worry about the half marathon as something that you have to finish, or the distance is challenging. You can then worry about racing a half marathon fast. So for this particular runner, that might be the only major training change that they should implement to then run a faster half marathon down the road. But my hunch is that because this runner is running relatively low long run distances for the times that they're running, I mean 1940 in the 5K, 91 minutes in the half marathon, these are fairly good. This runner is talented. If you're running those times, you are talented. And with that talent comes a responsibility. You have to train well. And so, these talented runners, they have to train at kind of a talented level. So I think any runner who's running these times or similar times, if you're not running at least 40 to 50 miles per week or more, I think you're shortchanging yourself. The athletes who are running faster than these times, maybe 85 minutes in the half marathon, 80 minutes in the half marathon, presumably the times that this kind of runner would like to run are running a lot more. So the lesson that we can pull here is that the faster you get, the more mileage is necessary for you to continue to improve and to support the faster workouts that are going to make continued improvements possible. So definitely get your long run up to over the race distance, at least 15 miles, but you can even go up to 20 for the half marathon. That is only going to help you. And then when it comes to your overall weekly mileage, runners of this caliber should be running 40 to 50 plus miles per week, and that is going to give you many more advantages when it comes to racing the half marathon. You're going to have more general endurance, and you're going to be able to really hammer all 13.1 of those miles. Now, of course, this doesn't get into the incredible detail that we can get into when it comes to half marathon training. There's a lot more information out there. There's a lot more complexity that we can discuss. But based on what we know, I think these are one or two of the biggest things that this runner can work on in their training to get faster. So if you're in a similar situation, if you've been wondering how you can potentially run a faster half marathon, these are two important things to think about. Now, I do want to point you to another resource that we have, an article we wrote on the Strength Running blog. If you go to strengthrunning.com/half, HALF, we're going to redirect that to the article on the blog. It goes into a lot more detail, not just mileage and long runs, but workouts and more specifics. And then, of course, if you're training for any other kind of race, whether that's shorter race like the 5K, longer race like the marathon, or even ultra marathon, we have a ton of information on strengthrunning.com that you can check out. And if you like these videos, I'm not going to be emailing every single video out to the Strength Running email list. So if you don't want to miss any, hit that subscribe button. You'll get them all in your feed. And I can't wait to keep answering your questions and giving you new insights and hopefully more actionable running advice that you can use to hopefully become a much better runner. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching.